Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's topic is a rather controversial one. We will be exploring the question, why do men love fighting? Now, I know this might seem like a simple question with an obvious answer, but I believe there is much more to this topic than meets the eye. As a philosopher, I believe that every behavior has a deeper meaning, and understanding why men are drawn to fighting can reveal a lot about human nature. So let's dive in. Firstly, it is important to acknowledge that fighting, in its essence, is a primal behavior that has been around since the beginning of human history. Men, in particular, have been associated with physical aggression and violence, whether it be for hunting, protection, or dominance. It is a part of our evolutionary makeup, and as much as we may try to deny it, it is ingrained in our psyche. However, this does not mean that we should accept it as a justified behavior. Now, let's move on to the philosophical aspect of why men love fighting. One possible reason is that fighting represents a form of expression. Men, like all humans, have emotions that can range from happiness to anger and everything in between. However, society has conditioned men to suppress their emotions and portray themselves as strong, unemotional beings. Fighting allows men to release pent-up emotions, whether it be frustration, anger, or aggression, in a socially acceptable way. It provides a means to channel emotions that may be difficult to express through other means, such as verbal communication. Another reason why men may love fighting is that it represents a form of competition. Men, like all animals, have a natural instinct to compete with one another for resources, whether it be food, territory, or a mate. Fighting allows men to engage in a competition that is physically challenging and often results in a clear winner and loser. This sense of competition can be exhilarating and satisfying, as it provides a sense of accomplishment and dominance over others. However, it is important to note that this form of competition can also be dangerous and destructive. It can lead to serious injuries or even death, and the desire to win can often outweigh the concern for one's own safety or the safety of others. This is where the philosophical aspect comes in. We must ask ourselves, is this form of competition justified? Is it worth the potential harm and damage that it can cause? Furthermore, fighting can also be a means of establishing social status and hierarchy. In many cultures, physical strength and the ability to fight are seen as desirable qualities in men. It can provide a means to gain respect and admiration from others, and can even lead to increased social status and power. However, this mentality can also lead to toxic masculinity and the belief that violence is necessary to maintain power and dominance. Men fight for survival, dominance, and personal gain. But they also fight just for fun. Anthropologists have found that the more conflict is culturally condoned, the more boys and men tend to fight, roughhouse, and engage in arguments simply because it feels good. Why? Because making fun of or wrestling a friend is easier than telling him you love him, and it sends a version of that same message. Ritual opposition, or fighting for sport, is a popular activity among males not only across cultures, but also across mammalian species. The behavior tends to begin in early childhood, affecting how young kids play. Girls tend to be more verbal, whereas boys tend to socialize through activities like sports and roughhousing. Even when boys talk, they're more likely to engage in verbal sparring and more likely to do so without hurt feelings. In a sense, this is just using words to engage in the same activity, playful fighting. This behavior often leads to gendered conflict. When a boy pulls a girl's pigtails, she may interpret it as an attack, whereas he sees it as an invitation to have fun together. In conclusion, the question of why men love fighting is a complex one with many different factors at play. It represents a primal behavior that is deeply ingrained in our psyche, but also has philosophical implications regarding the justification of violence and competition. As men, it is important to recognize the potential harm and damage that fighting can cause and to find healthier ways to express our emotions and engage in competition. As a society, we must strive to move away from the glorification of violence and towards a more peaceful and harmonious existence. Thank you for watching, and I hope this discussion has provided you with some valuable insights.